While we eagerly await for Loki's first season to introduce us to many of the concepts like the Time Variant Authority and what exactly they do and how time and multiple timelines work in the MCU, we now know that everything is actually predetermined. So Loki is looking at MCU spoilers by all technicalities. I wonder if Loki's looked far enough into the future to see when Marvel's first bomb is coming at us. According to the internet, it's the next project they don't agree with. Funny how that works. But yes, the TVA, they're going to be big-time players in the MCU. Recently, we did find out more details from the director of Loki, who specifically wanted to touch upon why exactly the TVA is so important to the MCU. And as he says, well, when you look at what Loki did, when you look at him using the Tesseract, what the Ancient One said about timelines and everything of that nature, and you look into what they're doing and how time flows and where the TVA exists, which we're going to learn once we actually get to the Loki series and get more details on it, they exist sort of out of time, if you will, just like the comics. But more so, they can see the past, present, and future. And as he says, when it comes to the MCU and the TVA, the actual MCU timeline is already predetermined. Everything that's about to happen, or was happening, they knew it was supposed to happen because of all the variants that they account for and how the timeline is playing out. If there is an occurrence where there is a deviation, that causes problems. Again, one major deviation and occurrence that happened that changes the course of history in the future is what Loki did, which they couldn't account for due to how the Avengers messed with time. So this now, I think, to everybody, should be more of a clear explanation of why Loki is so important right now, because the moment he took the Tesseract, he threw the future of the MCU that was predetermined out of order, into chaos. And they now need Loki because there's a lot going on. And if they don't restore it, along with what else is happening in all the other projects, things could get really bad. Again, Marvel has dealt with this in the comics, and other science fiction properties have as well, and I'm just excited to see what the MCU is going to do, because I'm going to believe that Loki is not going to have everybody else's best interest in mind over his. Something just tells me, not this Loki. Not at this point.